Hi! Normally at this point in the video, I would hit you over the head with flashy transitions and a short summary of what the video is about. I do this to mask the fact that I rarely have anything of substance to say. Today though, I wanted to check in. How are you really doing? Myself, I'm a bit worried about the upcoming Elden Ring DLC. Now please don't unsubscribe if you aren't already. But I've had my gripes with Elden Ring's late game. I've found that the health pool of the last bosses in the game are entirely too large for how dangerous they are. Most encounters feel like they are balanced around using summons, and since bosses have so much health, it's the most efficient to use bleed weapons. To me, that just wasn't as fun as going one-on-one with a big ass stick. But when you approach it like this, your damage output is not high enough to finish the fight quickly. I also always had the feeling that you had to play quite reactively in order to prevent getting caught like a dumbass. In the previous Dark Souls entries, it was possible to finish most boss fights in under 2 minutes. It also felt safer to play more aggressively. I found that way of playing to be more punishing in Elden Ring. In the late game, most boss fights took so long that it was only a matter of time before you lost focus and made a mistake. It did not help that these mistakes also tended to kill you in one hit, so imagine my dismay when I heard this.
I spent a couple minutes jumping over his fire stomps and hacking away at his ankles, but it was hardly doing any damage. That being said, let it be known that I came back near the end of the play session and kicked his ass by just wailing on his ankles for 7 minutes straight.
Now what I gather from this is that you have to conk a colossal fire brazier over the ankles for 7 minutes. He barely fits into the frame and it makes it hard to see what he's doing. I have a gnawing feeling he'll likely insta-kill you if you get hit as well. But that's not what I'm most worried about, because despite my gripes with the late game, I'm sure that it will be very high quality DLC, even though it might be within a design philosophy I don't really fuck with. My biggest problem is that this DLC is priced at $40. That shit's expensive. In today's economy, that is enough to buy you a Happy Meal at McDonald's. The defense for this price range is that the DLC is so sizable, it might as well be a standalone game. There have been game-sized DLCs before, but I do feel that they were not priced as high. I was on the fence, so I asked my community if $40 was a fair price, especially if you take into account that it's a DLC. Some of you said yes, some of you said no, and the vast majority was rightly focused on more pressing social issues. Right now, the consensus from those that have already gotten a chance to play it is that it will just be more Elden Ring, so naturally, the DLC will probably sell extremely well. And this is exactly what worries me, because that shows us that people are willing to pay $40 for a DLC, provided it is based on an already great game and the DLC adds to an already winning formula. If that is true, then this is the part that late-stage capitalistic game companies will focus on. I feel like after the inevitable success of this DLC, Miyazaki will have inadvertently set in motion events that are beyond human comprehension. $40 horse armor DLC for the Elder Scrolls 6. Come back to this video in 2030 or something, when the Elder Scrolls 6 has actually been released, and let me know if I was right.